Welcome back. I do have some more daily games on chess.com that I would like to go through to learn from, but I try not to do the same thing 2 days in a row, not only because that probably makes for more boring content to have similar style videos day after day, but also because I think my brain works better if I change up what it's working through. So today I'm going to try to solve some puzzles, and then maybe if I get time tomorrow or the next day, I'll go back to analyzing games. Let's look at puzzles here. I did gain 4 net points in my last video. Okay, the ones that start off when I'm in check are always tough, at least for me, unless there's only one legal move. But I think I have I just have 2 ways to get out of check. Well, if I block with the rook, I don't know what they will do. They might take my rook, and then I would take back, and then what? Then they could just move their king someplace, and I would be in check from the bishop. I would have to move again. But if I just moved out of check, could they do anything at that point? They could check me, but but that would probably be bad. If I moved here, they could probably take that rook, but then I could take back. I don't know of a way to choose which one of those 2 moves is better, so I'm going to move my king. Oh, that was right. Oh, and I didn't even think of that they could check me there. Well, can I block the check with the bishop, or should I block the get out of check by taking the rook? I should take the rook, right? Because that pawn's defended, the rook's defended. I think I should take the rook. They can still check me down here, but then I just move out of check again. And if they go back up there, then I can block with the bishop and I'm up a rook. I think I should take it. Oh, I didn't even think of that one. Oops. Well, I can't block that one. I have to move out of check, and there's only one legal move here, right? I can't go to any of those squares because of their queen, and none of my pieces can get over there to block. I mean, that would be cool if they could, but I have to move to e2. Why was that part of the puzzle? That move was forced, was it not? That's a pretty low pass rate of 35%, but I'm curious, that last move I'm pretty sure was forced. Again, the analysis has turned itself off. Oh, and this is different from yesterday. The move feedback is now a premium feature. Is that, oh, it's diamond only, probably. Okay. Well, I only want the evaluation bar in the engine lines anyway, so I'm kind of glad that that one's been moved up to premium so it won't be on automatically every time. But yes, here, I only had 1 legal move. That's always weird when the puzzle ends where that move was forced. Okay, but back here, after they checked me, oh, if I had blocked with the rook, it was mate in 1? Well, it's a good thing I didn't do that. Bishop to c1 would have been checkmate. Wow. Well, that would have been embarrassing if I had chosen that one, because I didn't see that at all. But yeah, it makes sense. The king's guarding this. The bishop would be hitting d2. And if we already mentioned the queen cutting off all of this and the pawn hitting that one, and my rook would be in the way there. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would have been really bad if I had done that, because not only would it have failed the puzzle, but then I would have come here and seen that I would have lost immediately. And that would, yeah. Anyway, next puzzle. Let's go back here and click the next button. All right, I am playing with the black pieces. The opponent has just captured something here. It looks like they're also threatening this pawn. Let me do the material count. We each have a queen, we each have 2 rooks, and we each have a minor piece. My minor piece is kind of going nowhere right now, but we're even on those. They have 5 pawns, I have 5 pawns. Okay, so even on material. Tactical motifs might include their queen not being defended, but I don't see an immediate way to get to the queen. I mean, they're just going to take that pawn, right? This piece is protected. That rook over there is not defended either, but I also don't know of a way to get to that rook. I could threaten it, but then they could just trade, but then I would be protecting that pawn. That rook's undefended too. Wonder if there's a way to get to that rook. Well, I don't see one because my bishop can't get out there. It would be nice if my bishop could do that in 1 turn. I have not yet encountered a magic bishop. Do I have checks? I do have a check here, I have a check here, and I have a check there. All 3 of those look pretty bad. Okay, well, I paused for a lot longer than I normally do. Normally, when I pause and look at it, that takes 2 or 3 minutes. This time, I think I paused for almost 10 minutes, and I couldn't think of anything. Not one thing. I don't even have a candidate move. The closest that I could come up with to a candidate move is sacrificing the rook for this knight. And the reason that I thought of that is because I have a rook behind a pawn, but that pawn can't go anywhere. If they take with this pawn, then I will have not quite a passed pawn, but a pawn that can move. My queen then will be, pointed across here at their undefended queen. Also, when they take back with that, I'm going to take that pawn with check, and their rook's still hanging. Actually, the more I talk about that, the more that makes sense. I wonder. Ooh, that's the only thing I've come up with, and I think I've spent at least 10 minutes on video of this that's probably mostly been edited out. I'm going to take the knight. What? Well, I was surprised that that was right, and I was surprised that that's the move they played. It's because if I move the rook out of danger here, then my bishop's going to be undefended. Well, now I also don't have a candidate move in this position, because do I move the rook to save it? Because I've gone up a piece now, but then they get the bishop. Or do I move the e-rook over to protect the bishop? Because if they take that, I still take with check and win their rook, because their queen didn't move to protect the rook. Their queen moved to attack the bishop that will, I assume, be undefended if I moved my rook. So should I leave the bishop there? Because my bishop will be defended if I do this, and then they can have the rook. I mean the bishop, but it would be with check, which is kind of dangerous. Okay, well, this position is just as difficult as the first one, if not more so. Well, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes looking at this one. Rook to e8 is my candidate move here, or what? What about queen to f6, which defends my queen? We talked earlier about my queen being undefended. It continues to point at that in case they take, and it defends the bishop in case I want to move my rook someplace. And it continues defending this rook. Man, that does a lot of stuff. Oh, I just realized why they moved their queen there. It wasn't to attack this bishop. My rook will be hanging once they take here, because I'll move my queen, and then my queen won't be protecting my rook anymore. Well, now that I saw that, I'm pretty determined to move the rook, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. To e8 maybe? But then it's not defended by anything. All right, well, again, I'm not spending another 10 minutes on it. Oh, that was right. Okay. Well, they got that out of danger, but now this rook's still in danger, so I still need to move this rook, right? I think. Now the bishop's defended by the rook on e8, and I'm up a minor piece, which is currently defended, and the only thing in trouble is this rook, which only has one safe square to go to. Okay, well, in this case, I only have one candidate move. Nothing else makes sense to me. If I do anything else, they're going to take that. I mean, obviously, if I check, they're going to take my queen. But if I do anything else, like play h6 or move this queen back or whatever, they're going to take that. So I think I should move the rook over to f5. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy I got that. It has a less than a 30% pass rate. But that was exhausting. The first move was the hardest. It took me so long to see that I should sacrifice, or I thought I was sacrificing my rook for the knight if they took, but they didn't take, because then I would have gotten their rook and their knight for my rook. But that would have left me up a knight, which I still am up a knight. So I don't know why they did the queen thing that they did. Anyway, I barely have time for another puzzle, especially if it's that long. Let's go. Okay, the material count shows that we are even on material. Each have a queen and two rooks, but my opponent is up 3 pawns, so not quite even. 2 of those are passed pawns. I might be in trouble if we just start trading off rooks and queens right now. So I'm not going to trade off rooks and queens. I need to start checking them, I assume. I can't move this rook. That's something that's important to note, is that my g-rook is pinned. And I assume if we don't get this sorted out quickly, they're going to put this rook here on g8, which attacks that rook that is pinned and cannot move. And then I assume I would need to bring, if it was my opponent's turn right now, that's what I'm talking about. They would play this, I think. And then I would have to bring this rook over to g1 to defend that rook. And then they would probably sacrifice, and I would take, and then my other rook would be pinned, and I wouldn't have another one, and they could just start pushing this a pawn, sorry. But that's if it was their turn. It's my turn. I have checks. I can check here. They're just going to get out. I can check here, and I think they would just get out to f6. If I check on c5, they could still just go to f6, but then I could take this d pawn with check, and then we'd have to go back, and then I could bring this rook down. So which one of those checks? The c6 check covers all these squares, so they would only have 2 choices. Did I say c6? That's c7. The b7 check allows them a couple of different choices, 2 more choices. This check allows them multiple choices. And of course, I have the rook to c7 check, which does allow them out, but then I could take this pawn and they couldn't go back. And then I could bring my rook back to c5, and that would be mate. Wow. I have no idea. That looks really complicated to me, but I'm going to play rook to c7 check. My little plan involved this, but is there anything that I'm missing? Like, that's the only current check that I have, right? I think it has to be taking on d4. The hardest part of this puzzle probably was determining that first move, which took me a while. But I think I have to take on d4. It's my only check besides, well, actually, sorry, it's not my only check. I have 2 other checks. I think both of those are pretty bad. I'm going to take on d4. And remember, the idea is they can't go back because of that rook. My queen hits the whole diagonal. My other rook is cutting off all of this, so they're forced to come forward to f5. And then when I bring my rook back to c5, will hit that square. And of course, my queen on d4 will be cutting off all of this. And I think that's checkmate. So let's take on d4. Oh, but, well, I forgot about that. I completely did not realize that was a possibility. Well, that changes everything. Good grief, I'm not very smart sometimes. Well, again, let's look at checks. Again, not considering the check on f7. Let's go to rook to c6 check. Well, then they can come back. Then I can come back down. And they are going to get chased down here into a checkmate pretty quick. Maybe. Okay, what about queen to d6 check? Again, they can come forward. Okay, what about h4 check? It gives them 1, 2, 3, 4 choices. Nope, sorry, not those two. My rook is still going to be covering those squares. Queen to h4 check allows them to move to either f5 or e6. They would have to go out to e4, and then it would get their queen? Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I hope that's right, but it was not. Okay. Oh, but I only lost 2 points. Yeah, and I'm done with this. Okay, what was it and why? Good grief, this was a difficult one. Let's see. The opponent moved the king there. Again, the analysis turned off. Oh my goodness, that's getting frustrating. We were drawn if only they had gotten out of check to e8, but they got out of check to e7, and I figured out the first move, and of course that left them... Okay, I was right that if they went back, I would have a quick mate, so they went to f6 here, and of course when I did that, I thought that I would take this pawn, so I did that, and e5 is their best move. Okay, I had to check on queen to d6. What would I do after they moved up here? Okay, first, what's wrong with this one? Oh my. Okay, I should have seen that. So it had to be queen to d6 because their queen would have taken my rook. So they come up to f5, which I'm pretty sure they have to. And I don't know, I don't remember what I said I would do at this point, but I went queen to d7. Can't they just, and it says their best move is to just go back. And the reason the puzzle wouldn't have continued at this point is because I have multiple moves. So let's retry this. I should have realized immediately why that was wrong. So queen to d6 is the only move that maintains my advantage here. Not this? Oh, I should have looked on the analysis board. What's wrong with queen to h4? Is it because they can just go back? So this forces them forward and the puzzle would have stopped there. Okay, so it had to be this, had to be that. Taking the pawn, blocking with the pawn. Oh, now it, okay, a second ago it was like +8. Now it's a mating sequence, but I haven't gained anything. Because that's the end of the puzzle. I haven't taken... Oh, no, I gained 1 pawn. But they were already ahead by 3 pawns. Now they're just ahead by 2 pawns. They only have 1 legal move, as we said. Okay, queen to d7 check. They're just going to go back, right? Okay, they went back. And now I can check rook to c6 or queen to d6. Now, it says if I check with the rook, they're going to take it. But if I check with the queen, aren't they just going to go back? Then that's a repetition. My best move is to repeat. Their best move is king to f6. Of course it is. Yeah, now it's not suggesting this because that would be a repetition. So now I have to play here. Oh, their only move is to take the rook. Okay, see, now I see how I'm ahead. Now they have multiple legal moves. 3. They can't block with the pawn anymore. Okay, let's say they went up here again. It's my best move to check down there again. Okay, are they going to go back? And it's my best move to repeat. I'm probably not going to repeat, but at least now my rook's not pinned. Let's say that I repeated and they repeated f4. That's my best move. They're not going to take it probably. Why? What happens if they take it? I go here and I'm aiming at this. They're going to play rook to a6 and I'm not even going to take it. I'm just going to take this pawn. They have to go to g5 and I'm going to check with this pawn on my h file. They have to go to h5 and I'm still not going to move my queen. I'm going to check on f5 and let them have the pawn or move down here, which is slightly better for them. And then I'm going to check on f4, finally saving the queen. They have to go to h3. And I'm going to check on f3 and they have to take the pawn. That's mate. Okay, well, none of that was obvious to me from here, but this should have been obvious. Okay, wait, what was wrong with this? What was wrong with this? That's what I wanted to know because they go to f5 and now I don't have anything. That's what was wrong with that. Because if I try to trade off queens, they have the extra passed pawn with the rook behind it. I think I understand. If you made it this far, thank you for spending your time here. As always, I've edited out tons from this video where I sat here looking like a moron staring at the screen. And anyway, I'll see you next time.